Today I'm going to be travelling on Europe's most amazing scenic railway in a private sleeper compartment from Belgrade's new central station, examining some of its strange features. Running through Serbia and overnight into Montenegro, we'll be travelling through 254 tunnels and over 435 bridges, including the famous Malaria Viaduct. All this while traversing some of the best scenery in the world, as we connect the capitals of these two countries. But of course, being in the Balkans, things don't always go to plan, so I'll be showing you what happens when things go wrong. It was definitely an unforgettable trip, so join me for an epic journey through the Balkans. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here at Belgrade Central Station in Serbia, and I'm going to be travelling on a journey that I've wanted to do for a very long time. I'm going to be taking the sleeper train down to Bar in Montenegro. I've booked out a sleeper compartment for this journey. Let's go! Belgrade Central Station, to put it politely, is unfinished, and frankly not even close. Presently it takes the form of a dirty concrete slab in a ditch at the edge of the city. It's this construction that has replaced the historic and better located 1880s station. The old station has now sadly been demolished to allow for the controversial Belgrade waterfront development project. Plans for the new station are ambitious, though with construction only getting this far in 14 years, I do have to wonder how likely it is that they will ever come to be. Entrance to the station is currently through this bus stop-like structure. There's no grand entrance or even lifts to the platform level, so if you're travelling with large luggage or especially in a wheelchair, then you're going to have big problems here. Back up a couple more stairs and wow, they really don't care about accessibility here. We have pretty much the only area of the station that isn't completely empty. There's a small cafe here, and a few vending machines too. This is also where you can find the domestic ticket office, with international tickets being sold out of this nearby cupboard. But more on the ticket situation later. The glitziest of trains operating in Serbia right now is the high-speed service over to Novi Sad. This Soko train is quite a bit more modern and reliable than what I'll be riding tonight, as you'll soon see. There's also some Soviet commuter trains built during the 1980s at Riga in the then Latvian SSR. My train though is number B433, the Lovchen to Bar, departing at 2020. Here it comes from the yard. The Lovchen is formed of 10 passenger carriages, of which 3 are seated, 3 are couchettes and 4 are sleepers, including the Yugoslav Presidential Carriage. Sadly I wasn't quite lucky enough to be booked into that carriage, which we'll have a closer look at later on. Instead, I will be in the rear coach, number 460. The train was full of holidaymakers, looking to escape to the seaside resorts around Sutomore and Bar at the peak of summer. I believe the train was actually sold out, so I was lucky to reserve bed number 61 with my accompanying friend travelling in bed 63. Today's route starts from Centar station in the beautiful Serbian capital city of Belgrade, formerly the capital of Yugoslavia. We'll be heading south for this trip, briefly dipping into Bosnia before crossing the border into Montenegro for a stunning journey through the region's mountains, finally passing through the capital of Montenegro on the way to the coast. Today's trip is scheduled at least to take 11 hours and 3 minutes, in which we will cover 468 kilometres or about 291 miles of track. Our journey begins with a send-off from the families of the passengers on board, departing on time at 2020. As the evening sky suggests, it had been a very warm day here in Belgrade, reaching as high as 38 degrees Celsius, leaving me to wonder how easily I would be able to sleep tonight. We're passing through Košutnjak depot in Belgrade at the moment, which has some very historical vehicles in its confines, and almost the complete formation of the Titov Plavi voz. The train was built to carry Josip Broz Tito, Yugoslavia's head of state. As a fellow lover of rail travel, the luxurious private train was also used by him to host many prestigious foreign guests, and often travelled over the route I'm taking today. So now back to our own compartment. It's certainly rather old, having been built by Fiat in 1973 and living out most of its days in France. As you'd expect, there is a lockable door to each compartment. As standard, the room contains 3 sleeper beds. The upper 2 are able to fold away if not needed, allowing for more space. This reveals a piece of artwork, with each compartment having a different recreated painting. In my case, this was the Bay of Naples by Claude-Joseph Vernet. As for the beds, they were great. With a soft pillow, a comfortable mattress, and of course clean sheets and bedding. Beside each bed you can find a small net for storage, as well as some sort of folding cup holder. Above the pillow, there is a personal reading light as well. These carriages don't have any air conditioning, instead relying on ventilation from the sliding windows. Whilst this is absolutely perfect for the upcoming scenery, as I mentioned before, it was very hot today. You can also find a privacy blind, secured down by these screws at the bottom. By the window, there's a small wash basin. Note that this is not to be used as drinking water, so be prepared and bring your own. Above the wash basin is a small storage cupboard. And speaking of storage, there's plenty of room to place your luggage above the corridor, with coat hooks also being provided near the door. Finally, whilst officially there's no power socket provided, you are able to make use of the shaving socket to charge your device. As daylight starts to run out, it's time to get some sleep, as an incredible morning awaits. After making up my bed, I was happy to be getting some rest after a long day. It took a while to get to sleep thanks to the very hot weather, but eventually I dozed off. Throughout the night I did wake up a couple times, but thankfully had no trouble getting back to sleep. I awake on the approach to Prijepolje Teredna, still within Serbia. Now this was a bit of a surprise to me, as despite expecting to be woken up around here, I thought this would be a little after 2 AM for the Serbian border check. Instead, I arrive in time to see the 06:45 service departing for Belgrade, making us by my watch over 4 hours late. Oh dear. This train has a bit of a reputation for arriving late, but to be 4 hours late already really isn't a good sign. After what was admittedly a pretty speedy border check, we're back on the move to cross into Montenegro, and crucially, where the scenery gets really good. Following a little bit of inquiring in broken English, I found out the train had actually broken down in the middle of the night at Valjevo. This resulted in them needing to find a replacement locomotive and crew, which, as I'm sure you can appreciate, isn't the easiest thing to do in the middle of the night. Anyway, the journey continues as we head into the eastern Dinaric Alps, getting just a little taste of the incredible views to come. It was all going really well, until... we come to an unscheduled stop here at the station of Brodarevo. This is just a small Serbian village with a population of about 1,800 people. Being the curious guy that I am, or perhaps just a little bit nosy, I decided to walk up to the front and see what was going on, only to find something that you never want to see. The replacement locomotive had also broken down. And once again, in the middle of nowhere. My first thought, of course, was how on earth are they going to get a replacement to us now? The nearest depot is many hours away. My second thought was, hey, I can actually get some pretty cool shots here. It quickly became apparent that we weren't going to be moving anytime soon, so I decided to go for a little walk. Firstly, the seated carriage, and despite slightly envying their air conditioning, I really did feel sorry for them having to spend all this time in a seat. Everyone seemed to generally be in quite good spirits, despite the massive delay, some even choosing to start their holiday early by sunbathing on the track. As the opportunity presented itself quite nicely, I decided to get a better look at the Presidential Carriage from the Titov Plavi. This carriage is beautifully preserved, and I find it amazing that it's now in mainline service. Unfortunately, as the train was fully booked, I couldn't get a good look inside. Hopefully I'll be able to ride in this carriage one day. Back at the locomotive, it looks like they're trying to get things working again, with the pantograph back up. Well, unfortunately the attempt was not successful, and we are very much still stranded. And so we keep waiting, and waiting, as the day gets hotter and hotter. Eventually a van arrives, full of much needed refreshments. With the help of some locals and even the passengers, these were distributed to everyone on the train. Everybody got a 1.5 litre bottle of water, as well as some plasma biscuits. Desperate for a drink, we barely noticed the rescue locomotive finally arrive. A call was given and all passengers got back on the train. After 30 more minutes, some of the slowest in my life, a few final checks were made. With much celebration from my fellow passengers, we are finally back on the move after a 5-hour wait. Welcome to Biela Polja in Montenegro. We arrive here at the sociable time of 12:30, and sociable it may be, but we were due to arrive here at around 3:30, making us some 9 hours late. Maybe I'll think twice when I'm complaining about British train delays now. The train is actually so delayed we meet the daytime service operating in the other direction here. After a locomotive change and another border check taking about 45 minutes, we are free to continue into the country. This spectacular viaduct is just one of 435 bridges on today's incredible journey, with the best of them still to come. The route also consists of an impressive 254 tunnels. Both of these figures are hardly surprising when you see the terrain we're travelling through. And when the terrain looks like this, it's almost hard to believe that it gets even better. Kolashin, one of our intermediate stops today, serves as the route's highest point, sitting at 1032 metres above sea level, and in my opinion, is where the best scenery begins. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so a video must be worth 1,000,000 more. I'll let the scenery do the talking. whilst quite literally riding across the top of mountains, be sure to look out for Loco-hauled station. Sitting all the way up here, it really does seem like the station serves nothing at all, so if you know why it's here, then please let me know in the comments. Our route begins its descent. While we're currently at around 1000 meters above sea level, the next major station, Podgorica, is around 50. You can clearly see it's a long way down. And I can only imagine how hard the brakes were working at this point. As we wind our way towards Podgorica, which is Montenegro's capital city, we approach one of the route's most unforgettable moments. This is the Malaria Viaduct. With a span of 500 meters, this 1970s construction was the highest railway bridge in the world for nearly 30 years, standing at 200 meters. Despite losing the record to a Chinese rail bridge in 2001, the construction still stands proud as an iconic part of the route and as a point of national pride in Montenegro. Finally, we are on the approach into Podgorica, our next station today. The capital city has a small population of about 200,000 people. Despite this, 30% of the country's population overall call the capital their home. Those wanting to arrive into Podgorica in time for breakfast now manage to arrive just in time for dinner at around 15:45. My journey is not quite over though, with a few more pleasant sights to come. In the meantime though, on to the ticket for today's trip. On my visit to the international ticket cupboard in Belgrade, I purchased a second-class ticket for 2 passengers, as well as a reservation for the double room. This came to a total cost of €77.80. For this 291-mile trip, that gives a price per mile of about 23p, which I think is great value for money considering the ticket is for 2 people. Oh, and as we're picking up more delay, I should probably also mention that a 50% refund was offered for the delay. Now I'm not quite sure that really covers the inconvenience, but as this could only be done at the ticket office and not online, I missed out on the chance anyway. Annoyingly, you also can't buy these tickets online either, meaning your only real choice is to turn up at the international ticket cupboard a few days in advance. The last bit of scenery that we see today is situated in the Lake Skadar National Park. And whilst we aren't riding along the top of mountains anymore, the change of scenery is much appreciated. The section of route between Podgorica and Bar actually gets a very good service, with an impressive 11 return journeys per day. As we approach Sutomore, it's time to run through my overall thoughts. On the whole, this is an awesome night train route, which is clearly very popular with the locals. Though it's impossible not to mention the ridiculous 10-hour delay incurred due to 2 separate locomotives breaking down in Serbia. Now, to give credit where it's due, both the Serbian and Montenegrin railways have come to an operational agreement to ensure this doesn't happen again. After all, the train did make national news. We depart Sutomore, now just 15 minutes away from our destination. This last stretch of line gives some fantastic views of the coast here in Montenegro. Finally, I see something I never thought I'd see. It's Bar station, and finally, the end of the line. We arrive here 612 minutes behind schedule, just over 10 hours late, at 17:35. And there we have it, the epic 21-hour journey comes to an end. As always, let me know what you thought of the Belgrade Bar sleeper, and to see a more punctual and modern night train, click up here now.